new growth that it grew in the 8th year exceeded, that's lashon of Rabu, it exceeded the Ikar, which is the original onion, which has Kedusha Shvius. And this is the question. Gidulav heter v'ikari iser. That which grew is technically mutter because it grew in the 8th year. That which was planted, the original thing, the original bulb of the onion, is technically aser because it's from a Shemitah year. However, kivan the Rabu Gidulav me'ikari, since the new growth exceeded more than the original, Eisen Gidulei Heter, Malanisa Isser, is that new mutter growth, Male, does it elevate, which means, is it Mevatel the Isser, or is it not Mevatel the Isser? Now the Ran explains that the question really is as follows. Is the new growth Usser because it's an extension of the original onion, which is Usser, or is the new growth Mutter because it grew Beheter? And if we're going to say that the new growth is Mutter, that means that Memela it's going to be Mevatel the original onion, permitting that part of the onion as well. So Rabbi Yami, this Yishmael brought the question to Rabbi Yami. Lo have a biyade. Rabbi Yami didn't have an answer to the question. So he went to Rabbi Yitzchak Nafcha and he asked him the question. Pasha le menahada. He answered the question for him from the following: Damar Chanitra, he saw Rabbi Yanai basal shel truma shenatai, an onion that was truma that was planted. V'raba gidulav ali karai. Now the new growth exceeded the original onion that was planted. Mutter, that entire onion is mutter. So we see from here that when something usser is planted, over here we're considering the shmita or the truma, something which is usser, and the new growth that came from it exceeds the original, so we say that the entire thing now becomes mutter. Now Rav Yirmiyah told him, Vitem Rav Zrika, some say Rav Zrika told him, Shavik Mar Train va'avid kechad, are you leaving tu Amirayim and you're paskening like one? And my name who trained, who are these tu Amirayim that seems to be that he's not paskening like? Dam Rabavo Am Rabbi Yochanan, Yalda Shesivcha Bezkena, a young tree which is grafted onto an old tree. Now this young tree is within the first 3 years of its growth, which means that it still has an issue of Arla, and it was grafted onto an older tree, which means that the older tree does not have an issue of Arla anymore, and Uba Peirais, that young tree has fruit on it, so that fruit is Arla. Afal Bisha Yisifa Masayim, even though now, after the graft happened, those young fruits that have an Isser of Arla grew another 200, so technically that extra growth was now grown beheter, Usser, still the fruit is Usser. And furthermore, Amar Shmuel bar Rabbi Nachmani, Amar Rabbi Yonasan, Batzal Shanatu Bekarem, an onion that was planted in a vineyard, Benekar Karem, and then the vineyard was uprooted, and then the onion continued growing more, and so now it's growing beheter. When it was growing, the vineyard is growing be'isser. That's considered Kilei Karem. But then it grew beheter after the vineyard was uprooted, Usser, that onion is still Usser. So we see from these two Amayraim, Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yonasan, that when we have something Usser that was planted, even though it now grew beheter, the whole thing is still Usser. So he just knocked away this answer to Yishmael's question. Now Hadar also came to Rabbi Ami, so he went back to Rabbi Ami and he asked Rabbi Ami the question again. Remember the first time he asked Rabbi Ami the question, Rabbi Ami did not have an answer for him. Now Rabbi Ami does have an answer for him. He answered the question for him from the following: Amar Yitzchak, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, a measure of onions that he was metaking, which means he took off all the necessary trumas and maasros from these onions, vizara, and then he took these onions and he planted them. Meiser has to be taken off from the entire new batch of onions. Alma, we see from here that Eisen Gidulin Mevatlon Iker, that which grew is Mevatl the original. The original onion that was planted did not need to have Meiser taken off of it, because he took off all the necessary trumas and maasros. Now he has to Meiser the entire new onion that grew, as if it never had Meiser taken off of it. But what do you mean? Part of the onion already had Meiser taken off of it. So it must be that whatever grows is Mevatl the original. The Gemara says it's not a raya. Dilma l'chumra shani. Maybe when we're dealing with a chumra, for example, in this case, when we're saying that we have to take off trumas and maasros, so we're going to be more machmir, and we're going to say that the new growth is mevatel the original, and therefore all of it would have to have trumas and maasros taken off of it. But in terms of a kula, when you plant something which is usser, and then new stuff grows, which is mutter, lav dafka, we're going to say that that heter is mevatel the isser. So when you have an answer for Yishmael's question, we're going to stop here for the day, pick up tomorrow with more attempts at answering Yishmael's question. For now, everyone should have a wonderful day.
Wonderful day.